Welcome to my channel. You may be familiar with tales of infamous pirates such as Blackbeard, Henry Morgan, or Captain Kidd. But have you ever wondered about the daily realities of a pirate's existence? What was it truly like to live among those legendary rogues of the high seas? How did they eat, sleep, and deal with the challenges of life at sea? Today, we're going back in time to explore these forgotten details and bring them to life so you can experience what it was actually like to be a pirate. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a ship's deck, the vast ocean stretching before you under a sky heavy with humidity. Around you, fellow pirates go about their daily routines, each movement etched against the backdrop of a sun that seems determined to scorch the very horizon. Your own weathered face is streaked with grime, the salt spray mingling with sweat and dissolved urine. You squint against the glare, aware of the bite of the wind on your bare arms, the same arms that are marked with the tattoos of past adventures and battles. It's 1715, and you've been a pirate for almost 3 years now. You've heard stories of life on land, of cozy cottages and plentiful meals, but that feels like a lifetime ago. Here on the Black Pearl, your world is the rolling waves and the creaking wood beneath your feet. The hiss of gulls' cries mingles with the shouts of sailors, creating a soundtrack as familiar to you as your own heartbeat. And yet, despite the familiarity, there's a constant hum of uncertainty. The next wave could bring fortune or peril. The next battle could be your last. Life aboard a pirate ship wasn't a life of leisure. There were no lounging sailors or leisurely paces. Every hour was accounted for. From the moment the sun peeked over the horizon, each pirate was expected to be up and at work. Whether it was swabbing the decks, tending to the rigging, or practicing with your cutlass, there was no time for idleness. Work was essential, but it was also a matter of pride. The difference between a well-oiled ship and a rotting hulk could mean the difference between success and disaster. Food was a necessity and a challenge. Pirates weren't known for their gourmet meals. Salt, pork, and biscuits were common fare, along with dried fish and hardtack, a type of hard, dried bread. These foods were cheap and easy to store, but hardly a feast. Fresh fruits and vegetables were a luxury when available, but often the closest thing to a salad was seaweed gathered from the sea. Preparing these meals was the cook's task, a job that demanded both skill and bravery. Not only were the ingredients often stale and unappealing, but the cook was always at risk of being the first to sample a dish that might have been tainted. Remember, there was no refrigeration, so every ingredient was a gamble. A misplaced biscuit could harbor a weevillous nest, and the cook would be the unlucky one to discover it. The lack of variety and the constant shortage of fresh provisions took a toll on the crew's health. Scurvy, a disease caused by a vitamin C deficiency, was a common scourge. Pirates yearned for the flavors of home, for a hot loaf of bread, a plate of fresh fruit, a glass of milk, a luxury rarely seen on the open sea. Sleep was a precarious affair. Imagine attempting to sleep in a swaying world where your cabin is just a few planks of wood and canvas separating you from the raging sea. That was the reality of a pirate's life. The rocking of the ship, combined with the incessant sounds of the sea and the occasional squawk of a gull, made for a lullaby that was anything but soothing. The only respite was exhaustion, which often brought a fitful sleep that was disturbed by nightmares of sharks, of storms, and of the endless expanse of the sea. A pirate's clothing was a reflection of their world, rough, durable, and always in need of repair. A typical pirate's outfit consisted of loose, comfortable clothing that allowed for easy movement. A red woolen shirt was standard, as were breeches tucked into sturdy knee boots. As for headgear, practicality was key. Most pirates preferred to go hatless, but when the sun beat down relentlessly, a wide-brimmed hat was a welcome shield. Clothing wasn't just about personal comfort, it was about function. A pirate's job was physically demanding, and restrictive clothing was as big a hindrance as a leaky ship. Rips and tears were common, and every pirate was skilled in making quick repairs. After all, a well-patched shirt told a tale of adventure, of battles survived, and of storms weathered. For the pirates, hygiene was a mixture of necessity and custom. Bathing wasn't a regular habit, and body odor was a constant companion. The open ocean provided a natural shower from time to time, but most pirates relied on a simple sponge and a bucket. The process was both practical and economical. Water was precious, and a bath involved far more than just cleaning. It was a test of endurance, a dance between heat and cold, and a ritual that became part of life at sea. The lack of bathing wasn't just about convenience or the scarcity of water. It was also a nod to the era's understanding of hygiene. The belief that frequent bathing could actually weaken a person's resistance to disease was widespread. Pirates, like many others, operated under this belief, further adding to their somewhat unsavory reputation. Medical care aboard a pirate ship was a blend of superstition and rudimentary practice. Injuries were commonplace, from cuts and scrapes to broken bones and gunshot wounds. The treatment varied from the use of herbal remedies to the application of leeches. Surgery was a last resort, performed only when absolutely necessary, and usually by someone without formal medical training. Diseases like scurvy were treated with questionable concoctions, and the lack of sanitation led to a host of other ailments. The role of the ship's surgeon was not just that of a healer, but also a part-time barber and part-time executioner. They dealt with everything from setting broken bones to pulling teeth and amputating limbs. The tools used were often more terrifying than the illnesses they were meant to combat, and the lack of anesthesia made every procedure a test of endurance. Amidst the chaos of life on a pirate ship, death was never far from the forefront of a pirate's mind. Whether it was a fellow crew member succumbing to disease or an enemy cut down in battle, death was a frequent visitor. The mortality rate among pirates was high, and death was handled with a grim practicality. Bodies were often committed to the sea, a simple ceremony that involved tying up the body, attaching a weight, and letting the ocean take the rest. This practice wasn't just about practicality, it was also a recognition of the sea's power and a way to ensure a quick departure from the ship. Aboard a pirate ship, death was not just a biological inevitability. It was a respected guest, a constant presence that demanded attention and understanding. Pirates developed rituals and practices around death that were as much about respect as they were about necessity. They understood that life on the open sea was precarious and that death could strike at any moment. Pirate ships, unlike their naval counterparts, were not designed for longevity. They were fast, maneuverable, and hardy, but their lifespan was often measured in years, not decades. A pirate ship was a testament to its crew's skill and resilience. Each plank and spar was a witness to battles fought and weathered. The average lifespan of a pirate ship was around 10 to 15 years, a respectable run considering the hardships they endured. The constant exposure to the elements, the strain of battling both on land and at sea, and the lack of proper maintenance all took their toll. A ship's demise could be sudden and dramatic, like the snapping of a mast in a storm. Or it could be a slow decline marked by leaks and groans. When a ship reached the end of its natural life, it didn't retire gracefully. It was broken up, sold for scrap, or marooned on a beach to become a crumbling relic. So let's close our eyes and imagine ourselves back on board a pirate ship. Salty spray of the ocean on our faces, and the creak of the wood beneath our feet. We are surrounded by the sights, sounds, and smells of life in the golden age of piracy, a world where danger and excitement went hand in hand. Now, if you'd like to dive deeper into the tales of these swashbuckling adventurers, consider checking out more content on piracy. Who knows, you might just find your next favorite adventure. Thanks for joining us on this journey through time. Until next time, keep an eye out for those Jolly Rogers, because you never know when adventure might be calling.